Hi, welcome back to Spike's Science Spot. Today's episode is about chemistry, the study of matter and the properties of matter. Matter is defined as anything that has mass and takes up space. So matter is made of atoms. There are different kinds of atoms. The different kinds of atoms are called elements. We arrange these elements into the periodic table, a useful tool for chemists. Atoms can combine to make molecules. Different kinds of molecules are called chemicals or substances. I hope you noticed today I'm dressed for chemistry. I have my lab coat on. A lab coat is used to protect my skin and clothes from getting splashed on by chemicals. Also, I've got my safety goggles handy. Those are really good at protecting my eyes from splashes and fumes. I might also need them if I'm using power tools to build something. So remember to dress appropriately because science is fun until it gets messy, then it's awesome. Clay is a substance that combines chemistry, nature, and art. Three things I find fascinating. Some of the earliest chemists were the people who figured out how to make things out of clay. The earliest known fired earth is from 30,000 years ago, and it was just a small figurine. I bet you've always wondered where clay comes from. Well, that's why we're outside to dig up some dirt and see if we can figure it out. Clay particles are hexagonal disks of layered sheets of alumina and silica molecules surrounded by layers of water molecules. This is what gives clay a moldable property. Clay is found in the earth. The soil around us often contains clay particles. Here you can see the relative size of soil particles. Clay particles are less than 2 micrometers in size, represented by the dot. Silt particles are bigger, between 2 and 50 micrometers, and sand particles are bigger yet, between 50 and 2,000 micrometers. 1 micrometer is equivalent to 1/1,000,000th of a meter. If we want to find clay, we can look in the soil. Soil is made up of minerals, organic matter, water, and air. Air exists in the spaces around everything else. Next, we will observe the minerals segment of the soil looking for clay. So first thing, ask the responsible adult at your home where is an okay place for you to dig up some soil. All right, now we're going to clean our sample. So you take it and put it in a container that has kind of a wide flat bottom and spread it out and pull out any more rocks, sticks, plastic, any sort of debris that we don't want in our test. We just want the small soil particles. Be sure to pause the video anytime you need to make notes. Next, you need to gather the following materials for the soil texture analysis. Step 1. Cover your work area or work outside. Step 2. Fill jar about 3/4 full with cleaned soil. Step 3. Add water, leaving about 1 inch of airspace. Seal the lid tightly. Step 4. Shake the jar to mix thoroughly. Step 5. Allow solid particles to settle. Mark the solids level after waiting 1 minute, 1 hour, and 1 day. After the experiment, your jar should look something like this. Here's what mine looked like after about an hour. The organic matter, bits of leaves, roots, and stems will be floating. I will demonstrate how to determine the percentages of clay, silt, and sand in your soil. I dump the soil and water after marking the levels on my jar. Notice I only have 2 levels marked. That's because I did not have a layer of clay in my soil. To get the total thickness of all the solids, you can either measure all of the layers together or you may add them up. To determine the percentage of each particle size, divide the thickness of each layer by the total thickness and multiply by 100%. With my calculations complete, I can determine my soil texture using this triangle graph. This graph is divided into different types of soil texture. Starting with sand, I will draw a line for 82% sand. Next, I will draw a line for 18% silt. Lastly, I will draw a line for 0% clay. The 3 lines intersect in the part of the graph designated loamy sand. This is my garden's soil texture. I'm guessing you still have one big question about clay, and that is, how does clay that starts out looking like mud become a beautiful bowl or pot or tile? After clay is cleaned and separated from the earth, it is shaped, and then it's put into a kiln. A kiln is an oven that goes to very high temperatures, much higher than your kitchen oven. In the kiln, as the temperature increases, the clay is completely dried. All the water, H2O, leaves the clay. This is a physical change. And the bowl could be turned back into mud with the addition of water. At around 500 degrees Celsius, new chemical bonds are formed between the layers of silica and alumina. A chemical change has occurred. At this point, your clay vessel will not go back to moldable clay by adding water. It's taken thousands of years to learn all we know about clay. Chemists are learning new things about the world every day. Share with me what you learned about the world today. Hashtag Spike Science Spot. Hashtag AFRLNMSTEM 101. This episode is dedicated to my dear friend, Serelda Snyder Bryan. Thanks for all you do.